it told me with a sigh, saying words that came across as a doubt.
Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. I am so glad that you guys have clicked on this video and want to hear me talk for the next 15-20 minutes. I did realize while editing this video I forgot to record an intro at all, so today we are going to be doing a tattoo tour and some story times to go along with them because a lot of them have a very sentimental story to go with them, so I thought I would share that with you guys. I hope that you enjoyed today's video, and there was a little bit of some issues that have happened in the last week. My epilepsy has started acting up again. I broke my finger. Things are just not going so great, so I do apologize I missed uploading last week, but I am really going to try to stay consistent with this channel. So bear with me, and I hope you enjoyed today's video. Alright, so the very first tattoo that I'm going to show you guys is the very first one that I ever got. So this is the first thing that I got. It is a bumblebee. And the reason that I got it was because bumblebees, if you know, aren't supposed to be able to fly. So their bodies are not, scientifically, they're like too heavy to fly with their wing mass or something. I remember, like, at the time when I got it, I knew the whole everything, but the gist of it is that bumblebees aren't supposed to be able to fly due to their bodies. So the reason that I got it because, oh my god, words are hard. So the reason that I got a bumblebee was because growing up I had a lot of injuries, and primarily to my back and my knee, or my right leg I should say actually. So I've sprained my ankle a number of times and sprained my knee a couple of times. I cracked my patella or my kneecap, and then I did end up breaking my tibia, and overall it was just not good. And I have hyperflexible joints just because I was always in dance and figure skating so young, so I'm just naturally flexible. Women's hips, if you don't know, they're obviously wider set than men's for giving birth. So the ligament that runs from your inside of your knee to the outside of your hip, it's pretty long and it's pretty important for holding your kneecap into place. I destroyed mine, essentially. It was just torn to shreds and was no longer functioning. So my kneecap would pop out all the time. There's a couple of points where they told me I wouldn't be able to play sports anymore, I wasn't gonna be able to skate or dance or do all these different things. And at that point in my life, those were really, really important parts of my life to me. So it was detrimental that I was potentially not gonna be able to do that anymore. And at the time I was 15, I ended up getting surgery to fully reconstruct this knee. And I had to get a cadaver tendon put in, actually, a whole new dead person's tendon in my leg. And then they had to shave off bone and move it over and screw it down. They had to take my kneecap right out and scoop underneath and make a hole for it, put it back, like plop it, pin it, I don't know. They reconstructed it completely, and then it was in a brace for like over a year. I was able to walk, so that was why I got the bumblebee, was because they're not supposed to be able to fly scientifically, and doctors told me a bunch of times I wasn't going to be able to walk. Kind of coinciding with health issues is this one here. This is a lightning bolt that I have, and actually the tattoo artist messed up and put an N here instead of an E because it was supposed to be an E for epilepsy. Now, the reason that I got a lightning bolt was because during the first diagnosis portion of like just figuring out what was actually going on, getting ECGs and trying different medications, and then seizing in hospitals, back and forth, and then not knowing if I was gonna wake up the next morning. Like seriously, I was scared for my life, and I had to have somebody sleeping in the same room as me every night to make sure that I didn't suffocate in the night, and like it was just a big and a horrible experience. But the one thing that helped me to understand it, and is something actually I use today to explain to patients that don't quite understand what epilepsy means or seizures and things like that, is my neurologist explained it like an electrical thunderstorm. And he's like, your brain is the cloud, and it's going to shoot off random electrical impulses to send little messages. Now, unfortunately, in the left side, it's bilateral, but the predominant issue is on the left side of my temporal lobe. and there's a lot of scar tissue there. Essentially, there was 2 hours worth of suffocation before the age of 2 worth of damage there, so just deoxygenation to that part of my brain. So I had meningitis and focal seizures when I was a baby and full grand mal seizures. So I was sick pretty much since I was born, and then just continuously always clumsy and issues with just being injured all the time. So like him explaining it to me in the sense of it being a thunderstorm, an electrical thunderstorm, it really helped me to just compartmentalize the emotional part of what I was going through with the actual facts of what was happening. So it was easier for me to understand what was going on if I knew, like, on a biological, chemical level what was happening. And I mean, obviously they explained it to me in these big giant words, and that terrified me, but when he explained it in that way, it just brought peace to me. So I got the lightning bolt for that reason, because every time I have a seizure, it's kind of like a thunderstorm in my brain. But the reasoning I gave my parent at the time was like, oh, it's just to signify that I have epilepsy. But no, it was more so a storytelling piece. We will continue with this arm. So I have 2 swallows, barn swallows here. And I just want them to add feet, actually. I didn't even realize when I got it done that there wasn't feet. But birds, free spirits, they're typically like social animals, and I grew up with them all over the place. They were all over all of our outbuildings and barns and any livestock buildings. Like, there was just swallows everywhere. Swallows and purple martins. So I've considered actually getting other birds tattooed as well as a hummingbird, because that was a very sentimental bird to my great-grandmother. Onto this wrist, I have 444. It's just an angel number of protection. I like it. I see it a lot. Honestly, I had $100 that day and just felt like it. I like it. So there's that. Continuing on this arm, I have a Black Widow. And now, the reason I got the Black Widow is because, well, actually, let me show you. It's got a little heart on his bum. I don't know if you can kind of... It's a little bit blurry now because it's faded, but I got that one because the arachnid is typically something people don't like. People are typically scared of spiders, or they don't like them near them, even though they're tiny, and most of them are harmless. I resonated with it because I've always kind of been a person who was liked and then not liked, because I was just all over the place with my personality and myself and friends and whatever. Like, growing up was just a lot. So I also always felt like I ended up being the closest and being able to be best friends with the people that were outcasts or not liked or weird and stuff like that. So I related the spider because I also find spiders on myself a lot. That was another thing. When we lived in Arizona for a brief time when I was a child, my parents actually sent me out to get the mail, out of the mailbox, and somebody had hit the mailbox and it fell. I was like 8, I think, 7 or 8. Anyways, I just grabbed the mailbox off the ground because, oh, someone hit it, I'll bring it in. And I brought it in, and as soon as my parents seen it, they're like, don't move. There was a black widow and 2 brown recluses within a couple of inches of my hand, and one of them was inside of the mailbox on one of the letters. So she said to just drop it, and I dropped it, and sure enough, one big black spider with a little red thing just right onto the ground, and then they shook the box and the other 2 spiders went out, whatever. I just noticed, like, I run into spider webs all the time, and like, I just like them. I don't know, I've never really been afraid of spiders. That's another thing. I don't kill spiders when I find them. I typically, like, put them outside. It's fine. Kind of similar with this one. This is just no rain, no flowers. Again, just had a lot of tough times in my life and got taught a lot of lessons the hard way. And that's the wording that I chose to express that in. No rain, no flowers. But behind here on the other side of my bicep, I have this butterfly. Now, I don't have the butterfly for any other reason other than the fact that I drew it and wanted to get it on my body. So I drew that one in the 9th grade, actually. I was only 13. and I drew this butterfly for an art project, and we had to do inverse coloring, or like basically what would normally be shaded in had to be white, and what would normally be the highlights had to be dark. I did that, and I drew it, and I really liked the way that it came out. So I kept it for a couple years, and then when I was 16, I ended up getting it tattooed. So I did get this guy, and that guy at the same time, I do believe. So that's all for my arms. So I have 2 on my neck. So I will show you the one behind my ear. I can. So I just have music notes behind my ear there. And I have music notes behind my ear because I think I might have talked about this in the last video too. Music has been a really influential part of my life and has gotten me through a lot of really difficult times. And it's been a big piece to just kind of like keep my mental health together. Actually, another thing with my epilepsy, because I have focal epilepsy, another part that comes with that is auras before the actual seizure. So it kind of tells your body you're going to have a seizure before you actually go into one. And it's a horrible, horrible feeling. But one thing I realized, because I had them for so long, I didn't realize what they were. I'd try to redirect my brain to start saying the lyrics of the song, or tune into the melody and start either tapping my toe, snapping, clapping, whatever, doing something to the beat to just distract my mind from what was going on. It actually helped me to pull out of auras a couple of times, and I did not end up having a seizure, which was really helpful. And so yeah, I got that one in Nashville, actually. City of country music, or whatever it is, I don't know. As for the other one on my neck, this one here, so it says Dolly. I actually got that one because it is the nickname that my gran has always called me. Now, my gran has been the rock in my life. She kind of raised me, she was just always been there, and she's been my best friend through all of the like growing up and puberty, getting through school, going through college, growing up into from a girl to a woman, basically. She got me through that. So I think it was Christmas of 2021 or 2022, and she wrote "To My Dolly" on a Christmas card for me, and I loved the way that she wrote it because she's really pretty handwriting. So I kept that card and took it right to the tattoo artist, and he copied it, traced it right over, and put it right on my neck, just a little bit bigger. So that's a huge sentimental piece to me as well. And my gran is still with us, thank God. So one day, I mean, she won't be, and that will be a piece of her to stay with me. So that's pretty cool too. Along the theme of grandmothers, the only one that I have on my torso, I guess you would say, is this one here. So this says Angel. And that is the nickname that my other grandmother has always called me, is Angel Babe, or Angel Girl, Angel, any rendition, but Angel has been the primary word that she's always called me. She showed me a lot growing up, mostly just about work ethic and like really having to get through tough times, because both my grandmothers had a rough life. You know, I just always watched my grandmothers growing up because they were like solid in who they were and what they wanted out of life and what they were gonna do to get it. And I really loved that. So I got their 2 nicknames tattooed on me, and again, they're storytelling pieces, but also sentimental pieces for them. Other one that I have on my, I guess, upper body would be that one. That just says XO. Not gonna lie, I got that at the same time I got the spider, and it was a spur of the moment decision because I wanted a, that's that. I got that instead of a tramp stamp, so whatever. That one was just fun. Moving on to the final 2, I believe. I have one on either ankle that says 1973 and 1968, because those are the years that my parents were born in. And as much as we've had a bit of a rocky relationship, come out of them, they created me.
Wow.
So, again, just a form of storytelling. That's all of my tattoos. I hope that you guys enjoyed visiting all of them with me. I'm definitely going to be getting more in the future, so stay tuned for that, I guess. As I mentioned in the last video, I go in for one and end up leaving with 2 or 3 sometimes. So we will see what is to come in the future. But for now, I really hope you guys enjoyed this video, and don't forget to like and subscribe down below. Comment anything that you would like to comment, any questions or any video ideas, anything you guys would like to see. Yeah, I hope you guys are having a great day, night, morning, whatever time it is for you. And I will see you guys next week. Bye.